Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the DSCI Innovation Box. DSCI Innovation Box was launched last year in Mumbai on the sidelines of 9th Annual Information Security Summit. Innovation Box is an initiative to encourage new product ideas and promote entrepreneurship in the domain of cybersecurity. The intent of this initiative is to recognize and honor the most innovative idea of the year. To begin the ceremony, please join me in welcoming Mr. Nandkumar Sarvade, CEO DSCI, on the stage for initial remarks. I would also like to invite Mr. Shivarama Krishnan, partner PwC, to share his thoughts and a brief overview of the Innovation Box.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the delayed start. This is something which we have been working on for a long time and very keen to showcase all the entries that we received during our DSCI Excellence Awards for this category. And this is going to be an interactive exercise. We have a very eminent jury panel, and you are also supposed to play your role in giving your marks to the entries. So this is something which we are looking forward to. But just to give some context to the whole exercise, I wanted to mention about what we have been doing this year and where our process partner has been playing a very large role, which is the exercise of the Cyber Security Task Force, which got set up after Prime Minister Mr. Modi's exhortation to the Indian IT industry to tap into the global cybersecurity business opportunity and provide the one-stop solution shop for the entire world for security. So the Cybersecurity Task Force has been doing a lot of brainstorming. It has split itself into 4 working groups on skills, technology, industry and policy, and it is trying to locate those points on which we can have some kind of intervention which will then stimulate the entire product development ecosystem, entrepreneurship ecosystem, which will create those blockbuster product ideas which will then be able to scale up. Just to give some example, in 2014, Israel stepped up its cybersecurity exports from $3 billion to $6 billion. Israel is a country of 7 million people with obviously very tightly knit society and so on. But in India, we have 1.2 billion people. We have great strength in technology, so we also should be doing something. And I think this community has the primary responsibility for converting that dream into reality. So we are very gung-ho on this particular exercise, where we will, of course, take some more structured steps to ensure that the whole product development ecosystem in the country really scales up to the level where then it will produce really those great ideas. So our product process this year got excellent response, and thanks to all of you, it has been a very fulfilling discovery for us also, as to look at what is new in the field and how it's to be scaled up. I wanted to thank all of you to have participated, and I also want to thank our eminent jury, which comprises of thought leaders in different fields. So we have Mr. Ramesh Kamta, who is the Chief Information Security Officer of GE Corporate, joining us. Thank you very much. We have Mr. Subhash Subramaniam, Chief Information Security Officer of ICICI Bank, who has joined us here. We have Mr. Sandeep Singhal, MD of Nexus, who has made a trip from Mumbai to be with us, so has Subhash. We have Professor Vijay Varadarajan, Department of Computer Science, Mecca University, and I just roped him into this jury because he has a rich experience both in academics as well as in the industry side. And we have Mr. Sundar Krishnan, Chief Risk Officer of Reliance Life Insurance. So we look forward to getting the jury's views as well as your views, because all of that is going to add up to the final tally. And thank you again for being here. Request Shiva to share his thoughts.
Thank you, sir. I think Mr. Sarvade has referred it. Prime Minister has made some history onto himself because he had a three instances speaking about IT and digital India. One on NASSCOM 25th year ceremony. He spoke about cybersecurity for about 3 minutes. Then he went to Russian Federation to one of the international events in BRICS events. Then he spoke about 6.5 minutes. Then he came back and launched Digital India, and he spoke on cybersecurity about 9.5 minutes. And that's a time that he has spent out of 40-45 minutes of speech. So it is keep on increasing. With that, NASSCOM thought that it's a time for us to really think and push this cybersecurity ahead. And probably as an industry, NASSCOM is trying to set itself to say that can we become 1/10 of the overall IT services industry revenue come out of cybersecurity services, which means that from current $1.2 billion, it has to reach something close to $35 billion in 2025 and about $10 billion in 2020. If that really needs to be achieved, even as a vision for the country, it can be only possible if the product environment, development environment is robust enough. Because unlike in other service sector where enterprise applications could be anything where the service is a large component, in security is intertwined. So even though we started last year, to have this innovation box to identify, promote products as an environment in India, we felt that maybe it's apt for us to reinvigorate and strengthen this further, because that could potentially will help us to create a robust environment. Because most of the startups who are developing a product, one big difficulty which they face is to get a first client, is to get a recognition of their the maturity and then the innovation that the product has. So keeping that in mind, this has been set up. I'll just take briefly in terms of take you through what we are going to run through with. And there are nominations which has came on to us, and on which we have select set of product vendors. Currently we have 13 of them, if I'm not wrong, 13 product vendors who have been shortlisted based on the nominations or the applications that we have received on with us, which are, some of them are really innovative. I mean, we got excited with at least few of them, and we saw it for the first time. Oh, it's quite good. Oh, it's going to compete with the global brands, whether it is SIEM products or a DDoS attack protection, so on and so forth. So we feel that it's unique, and we feel that it is required for us to promote in some form. And what we're going to do is that each of these product vendors will be given about 5 minutes of time to come and present their product idea, and then we allow you to question them for 2 minutes. First choice would be for the juries to have, but at the same time, we don't want to limit only to the juries. If anyone, if you have got a serious question to ask them in a positive manner to come up, bring about the idea better, and feel free, raise your hand and ask a question. My only request to you is that make it a positive rather than as a question for the sake of questioning, because we just got 2 minutes time for us to question. Based on that questioning, we can go back and evaluate them. The evaluation parameters are primarily into product idea, into product roadmap, and organization profile. And these are 3 aspects on which we request you to evaluate. Many of you, or each one of you, would have got an evaluation sheet with you, and then the juries have also got their evaluation sheets with them. What we are going to have is that about 70% of the evaluation criteria is going to have 70% weightage for the juries and the 30% weightage to the participants, all of you who are here to evaluate it. What we will do at the end is to collect that forms, and we will aggregate it together to come up with the nominations, and then the final winners will get declared tomorrow in the award winning ceremony. That's going to be the next 1.5 to 2 hours of effort all of you put it in. And I'll encourage each one of you to participate. You are not only contributing to the services and industry, but you are contributing to the nation. Because if you believe that, what Mr. Savade has spoken about, 7 million population, having a 7 billion exports, can we, if we are 120 billion, 120 crores population, can we probably have that same $120 billion exports out of security? Maybe it is possible. That should be audacity for us to think. If at least, if you have to do that, all your participation is welcome. Please be positive, please be participative, and let's make the best product to win tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Sarvade and Mr. Krishnan, for giving a detailed insight into DSCI Innovation Box. We will now begin with the presentation by the shortlisted product companies. I request all the jury members as well as the audience to mark the product after it has been presented. Our first product for the evening is AKS Forensics Workstation, which is a state-of-the-art computer forensics workstation developed by AKS Information Technology. I would like to invite Mr. Rohit Srivastav, Senior InfoSec Consultant with AKS Information Technology, to present the product. Apologize for the inconvenience. Rohit Srivastav will present his product towards the end. Our next product for the evening is Security Analytics and Visualization Platform by Aegis, which is a solution to manage organizations' challenges for a single view of the state of security. I would like to invite Mayurakshi Ray, Vice President, Sales and Solution Engineering from Aegis, to present the product.
Hello. Yeah, I think this way. Thanks. Good evening. If you study the security researches done by the Big Fours and some of the big security global agencies, you will find that security incidents from malwares, insider threats, etc., are rising year on year on a whopping 66%. And the issues of interconnectedness and lack of visualization is just making risks worse. Added to the fact that the spends of security is not increasing up to that mark, because when there is a spend on security, you need to have a justification that needs to be made. So one thing that keeps coming out of that fact is that you require an effective mechanism by which data needs to be collected, that needs to be analyzed to make it as information, and then it needs to be presented in a way to provide insights against a defined baseline. So here is a business problem that we saw as security consultants with about 8 years niche experience in the field. We saw that there are multiple mandates for controls, for stakeholder expectations around compliance, around client regulatory and client contractual compliance, but people are managing them through Excel sheets in a disparate way, and thereby we developed a solution that can be one shot to do analytics and visualization, taking out Excel sheets in an automated, integrated manner. Our security analytics platform is based out of a parser layer that can collect data from multiple facets. It has a transformation layer that can analyze and correlate. It has a workflow, and it has widget-based presentations that can present custom visualization. And over the years, we have developed 5 use cases. We have developed a use case for client assurance, whereby different client requirements can be presented in a specific way depending upon the matrix in which you want to be reported on. For a global Fortune 5, we have developed a threat analysis platform by which we can report global threats over multiple platforms following their own matrices. We have, for the global IT company, developed a product, developed a module by which they can analyze and report on their product security, connecting data from 200+ sources, and it is growing by the day. You can see in this slide our custom widgets that we have developed. These are the different type of reportings. It can do trend analysis for vulnerability. It can show deviations against security baseline. It can show your security controls. It is developed by Augers. It is backed by our investors, endorsed by our clients, and developed out of the Augers expertise on information security and risk management. And it is developed, and it has been employed and deployed for global Fortune 5 clients. So what did we achieve? One platform, 5 use cases, 30 plus apps already integrated, 200K plus incidents analyzed and counting. We have marquee clients, and we have a revenue of 600K plus USD and growing. That is the revenue up to the last thing. Thank you. Any questions, please?
Could you tell us a little bit about the use cases as to what you did? You said 200K over analytic threats, but could you sort of map some of these or to the use cases, or just talk about use cases?
Okay. I'm just bringing it back to this side, this one, right? Yeah, okay. Client assurance is a use case whereby a company who has multiple clients to which they need to report on to, depending upon the client's different and disparate compliance requirements. So this tool collects baselines against the individual client's reporting requirements and can prepare custom reports. It is being used live by a client in US. It is a global financial client which needs to report to its customers on its state of security, and they use this tool. The second one, that is a vulnerability management module. It has been used by a Fortune 5 company. What they need is that they have those 100 plus applications, or maybe more 500 plus applications, multiple platforms, devices. They are doing vulnerability management. They want one product by which they can measure the vulnerability, the effectiveness of vulnerability management. They can report the trends, the malwares, attacks, etc. And this tool is being used to prepare that as a dashboard and visualization. The third use case, which is about product security. The third use case actually is third party. So it has been used by multiple clients. Notable among them is one of the third largest bank in India, who uses it for their vendor and third party management, right? The fourth use case is around product security. It has been used by a very, very large global product organization. So as part of their product development, they have to provide a kind of an advisory on their state of, the kind of products they're using, if it has got any issues around, any threats, any wrong codes being used, and that is that is kind of an advisory that they have to give both to their internal stakeholders as well as to their clients. We connect it to 200 plus sources, consolidate it, and then present it as dashboards.
Hi. I'm Rishi. Can I ask a question?
Hi, Rishi.
Hey. You spoke about 200K as the scalability for the solution. What inhibits scalability going beyond that? How is the product scalable to handle more incidents as you go along?
Okay, so the product is developed is the main thing that, so 200K is actually the number of sources to which it has been able to connect to till date, right? And the possibilities are infinite. That is because of the fact that we use parsers rather than custom connectors. Right? If it is a custom connector for every data source, right, and specifically if it is a not too common data source, you need to develop an API. You have to call, and if the client has bought it, right, you have to call out, just pay them money for it. The beauty of this solution is that because it is parser-based, it can go and integrate to any readable data source. Right, and it can pick it up, it can read, and it can just do the baselining and convert it into a report. Thanks. Yes, please.
We have to really look at, say, Gartner
Okay, excellent question. Thank you for asking that. Well, so if you really look at it, it's like one of a kind of a tool, right? It's this kind of a visualization platform which shows a state of security. We only know of 2 products, as in one us and maybe one more product in the market, and that also is not an Indian product, who can do this. Some parts of it is GRC. Like, for example, we have the model for third-party risk, right? It is a compliance management. It is pure GRC. But the product security model, it is not GRC. It is into the core area of technology, consistency and technology enhancements. So it's a mix. It can fall into multiple areas. I think Ramesh had a question. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can you show us a demo dashboard?
Yes, anytime. I mean, the dashboards are in my deck here. I'm sorry, I have to use this. So these are some of the demo dashboards. I do not know if it is, sorry if it is not too clear. So, I'm sorry. So, there is a dashboard that shows vulnerability by trends. You can measure the state of vulnerability. It can actually go and connect to a global threat intelligence report and even do a malware analysis and show. You can show baseline deviations. So you have to define a baseline, and against that, what are the deviations, right? And it is, this is a product that sits above a SIM product, and thereby, a company like IBM has endorsed it. They have taken that, adapted this as an enhancer to their SIM QData product.
Thank you, Mayurakshi.
Thanks. Thank you.
We have allotted 5 minutes for each presentation. I would like to remind all the contestants as well as the audience to please stick to the time limit. Our next product today is MobSec, developed by Data Resolve Technologies. MobSec is a comprehensive mobile device management solution to ensure streamlined and secure business transactions on mobile endpoints. I would like to invite Ms. Renuka Khanna, Manager Pre-Sales from Data Resolve Technologies, to present the product.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Renuka Khanna, and I am here to present the solution on mobile security called MobSec from Data Resolve Technologies Limited. So, as we know that with the continuous increase in the use of smartphones and tablets to access the corporate data, it becomes very important for the organizations to prevent data leakage via all possible channels. And we already have a lot of MDM products in the market that cater to the same requirement. But the idea behind the MobSec was to come up with a product that efficiently captures all the capabilities of the MDM solutions, but it also provides the proactive analytics for employee behavior and productivity assessment that actually helps the organizations to take reactive actions before the data leakage occurs. So we are planning to go live by end of the December 2015. Then, as you all agree to the fact that every innovation has a thought behind it. So the idea for coming to for the product MobSec was to address the challenges which were faced by some CISOs. So if I talk about a situation that are you able to monitor your employees proactively if they have some intention to leak the data? I think most of you will agree that no. So, or if we talk about the bring your own device policy, then does your employee knows that how many applications are touching their private data or how it conflicts with the corporate data sitting on the same machine? Or if the device is the company owned, do we have the provision to perform the audit of the devices? Last but not the least, can you get an integrated view of the productivity, application level control, forensics, etc.? Or additional, can you integrate your ongoing running DLP on the endpoints with the MOPSEC console? So the answer is yes. So MOPSEC actually enables enterprises to monitor and control their business through smooth and risk-free transactions by monitoring and controlling ever-growing mobile devices. So what we have done is we have packaged the solution and we are providing 4 modules in that caters to the device management, application management, data security, as well as the employee productivity with analytics engine built on top of it. So when we talk about the functionality, we are giving the solution on cloud platform where all the mobile devices will be connected to the cloud, and we'll have the option of generating the cyber intelligence reports. So this is we have variety of options here. You can get the cumulative organization level report, the employee-wise report, the agent-wise report, and in case if you want the feature-wise reports, you have the option. In just one click, you'll get the PDF report out of that. The dashboard is also connected to the cloud server for the policies to be synchronized in and out. So here you will get the view of all the management analytics, pie charts, graphs, everything. And then you'll also have the option to control the policies, agent management, everything in one. So behind bringing an innovative product to the market, it is also must that the go-to-the-market strategy should be innovative. So we are building various channels to do the same. We are coming up with the managed security service providers, where our cloud-ready platform will be hosted on MSSP SOC, and they will provide it as a services to their end customers. Then we are also tying up with the cloud providers with co-funding model, where their sales engine and marketing engine will go ahead and pitch our product in the market. We are also bundling the product with the OEM providers, and they will offer the same as white labeled offering. Then we are also planning to launch our e-commerce website where they can just go online and buy the licenses. Now to give you a brief about the company, Data Resolve was incubated in IIT Kharagpur in 2008. So it entered the market last year with a product called Indefend, which provides end-to-end security from Indefend. And these are some of the recognitions and awards that has been achieved. And the facts show that we are in the market with 100+ enterprise customers in a very short span of time. Then these are some of the facts that show the success of the Indefend. We are also honored to be part of the PMO Cyber Security Task Force, which actually helps PMO to create policy statements for the cyber security companies for R&D and other purposes. And then our Indefend product provides end-to-end employee productivity and forensics. And we are also coming up with the framework for the MOPSEC, which is going to release by the end of the December. And these are some of the key members who are responsible for the success and the growth of the company.
Time up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayurakshi, for presenting your innovative
Renuka.
idea. Now we have 2 minutes for the audience and the jury for questions.
I have a question. Is this a backup solution or a security solution?
This is a security solution.
Okay.
So MOPSEC will sit on each of the mobile device, and it will be connected to the cloud server where all the policies will get synced and the policies will be applied through the same.
But I got a feeling that it's a backup solution.
No, this is the security, endpoint security.
So you're pitching this as a MAM, MDM plus mobile security.
So this is the combination of MDM plus the employee productivity and behavior analysis.
So when you pitch it to a customer, can you tell us 2 reasons why a customer would pick this over, let us say, a product like AirWatch or Mobile Iron?
See, there are situations, suppose if an employee or somebody tends to leak some data, so there are evidences which can actually prove that this guy or he or she intends to leak some. So are you getting the early alarming signals? So the answer is no. So to get that proactive reaction, to give that proactive reaction before the data leakage occurs, we are providing the employee productivity and behavior analysis. Yeah.
Just a quick question. What are all the things that you're monitoring?
So we are monitoring all the applications that are being browsed, the time spent on the applications, and then we are monitoring all the emails. We are building our own secure email apps through which if the client will connect, the emails would be monitored. And then we are also monitoring the browsing activities, the file uploads, and we have the policies setting, like if the employee is entering the organization and we want that he should not use his camera till 9 to 5. So we have the options to enable those policies. And there are a lot more in the list.
Is MDMs of the world suffer from defects or limitations such as integrability with other applications and other security apps? So have you done research on that when you...
Yeah, definitely. So our development team has already done in research and the prototype has already been developed. So we'll complement all the security apps. So it is like we are building our own security apps to connect to the emails and other applications.
So quick follow-up. So the user will not be allowed to bring or use his or her own app which does not conform to your policies.
That policies would be defined. He can use that, but using our client, if that needs to be monitored. If the client wants something to be monitored, he has to use our secure email apps.
So there are certain environments that you would envisage that this will be useful, whereas there are certain environments where this will not be useful. Do you want to comment upon that?
So no, actually it will be going gradually. It will be useful in all the environments because gradually we are coming up with all the secure clients. So basically starting with, we are coming with the secure email client.
Thank you, Renuka.
Thank you.
I hope the jury and the audience are scoring the product simultaneously along with the presentation. Our next product for the evening is mKavach, developed by CDAC. mKavach is a comprehensive mobile security solution addressing the threats related to Android mobile phones. I would like to invite Mahesh Patil, Principal Technical Officer from CDAC, to present the product.
By the time the presentation gets loaded, mKavach is a comprehensive mobile security solution actually. And apart from an MDM kind of solution, we have an USP specifically in terms of an application analyzer, which is not a signature-based solution. So I just present the details about those USP specifically to mKavach. That's fine. So if you see, like, the mobile devices are slightly very difficult to protect, especially in terms of the additional features which they incorporate. If you see, data and application threats are very common in a desktop environment, but if you see on the mobile side, resources, especially in terms of the telephony stack or the GPS stack or Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, are something very uncommon in a normal desktop environment. Secondly, the physical threats are also very common in terms of mobile environment. So looking at this threats, we actually came out with a threat model to find out which are the actual resources that needs, or what are the things we need to focus on to actually have a more comprehensive solution for mobile devices. Looking at the threat model, we found that there are certain features which are definitely required. For example, a lot of people store personal information onto the mobile phone. So we have a mechanism of secure storage which is designed across password-based encryption system actually, including a backup and restore mechanism. Most of the malicious applications try to misuse the resources, like they unknowingly take a camera pic and send it across through your phone. So we actually have a mechanism to protect that kind of behavior. So any of your data connection or camera or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi is misutilized, it can actually tell that a particular application is misutilizing this kind of resources from your phone. Apart from that, the application threads, because in Android specifically the applications are really in wild. You can, apart from the Google sources, you can actually download it from many third-party vendors. So it becomes very difficult to actually for an end user to know what is a genuine application and a non-genuine application. So our application analyzer does that mechanism of classifying applications into benign or malicious application, apart from a secure listing mechanism. We also have a browser, because most of the people browse details onto the mobile. We have a JavaScript-based engine, a heuristic engine, which protects you against specifically JavaScript-based attacks. And apart from these features, we have, when a phone gets lost or stolen, we have mechanisms of actually remotely locking or wiping the phones. But so we have two editions in this: a personal edition, which has most of the common features which you will see required for protecting individual's mobile. But apart from the individual's mobile, the enterprise edition actually hosts a sophisticated application analyzer engine. We have our own push mechanism, which is independent of the Google. So you don't have to depend on Google to have the pushing mechanism. This is one of the requirements for the government agencies, where they don't want to actually depend on the third-party solutions for this. Third is also for like support for integration of proprietary algorithms, which is again a requirement for most of the government mechanism. Apart from that, a common MDM kind of solution. So we host most of the application analyzer on the server, because the mobiles are more hungry for power actually. So if you do scanning of antiviruses and things on the mobile, they will actually consume a lot of power and resources from the mobile. So the approach, so what is the USP and novelty in our product is mainly a domain aware static analyzer. It is a very fast and efficient mechanism which uses machine learning as opposed to signature based scanning. And we also do a runtime dynamic analysis of the applications, which would actually help us to even actually find out malicious behavior of obfuscated applications. So how does it work? Typically, we actually take an APK. We have actually taken 1500 plus Android malicious applications and extracted very curious features which do malicious behavior. Like for example, suspicious API combination and combination of an app to get a permission for reading your contacts and internet is kind of a suspicious combination of permissions actually. Apart from that, having executables inside your binary also is something suspicious. So we take that, capture it, and we actually generated a machine learning model which actually is then fed to through an APK to classify it into an benign or malicious application. Apart from that, we also do dynamic analysis.
Time is up.
Yeah.
Kindly wrap up your presentation
Yeah.
soon.
So apart from that, dynamic analysis, we can typically find out which servers the machine is connecting to, what data it is sending, whether it is breaking the sandbox or not. So this is specifically the USP from our solution. And you see that some of the results of wherein most of the data is going to China and US servers actually. And another heuristic-based engine which is protects against JavaScript attacks. So we have 4 publications which actually publishes most of our work and is published in international journals actually. So if you have any questions, I can take it.
One question, please. We only have time for one question.
Where is this application tested? Because you mentioned that data is going to China. Is it in the testing environment or is it a live environment?
Pardon?
You said, where did the application tested actually?
Yeah, so we have actually deployed the insert in this application analyzer. So they use it for actually analyzing this malicious application. That's one place. Secondly, we have an ongoing deployment at IDRBT, which is a financial research and development organization in Hyderabad actually. The personal edition is available on Google Play, even on mGov or eGov actually. So if anyone is interested, can actually download it directly from the Play Store.
Thank you, Mahesh, for presenting your innovative idea. Our fourth product for the evening is XGen Plus. XGen Plus is an all-in-one enterprise e-management solution made in India. I would like to invite Dr. Ajay Datta, founder and CEO, My XGen Technology, to present the product.
Not Datta, and I represent a company called XGen. This is, I will start my presentation with a question in mind that if you think about 3 email service providers in this country, in this world, which are these 3? And I am sure without naming them, all are international, all are hosted outside India, whether it is requirement of a corporate or an individual, you have to go outside India. This is where we pitch in, out of India, out of Jaipur, built an enterprise class email product, which is used by millions already in India itself. Customers I am going to talk about like Reserve Bank and police and all. So we have built a product for Indians, by Indians here, and the capabilities which we are going to showcase is going to change everybody's life. Actually, I read that line, innovation idea, and innovation which can change everybody's life here, which can be hacker-free, which can be risk-free, which can be legally vetted and all that stuff. So novelty-wise, first thing which I'm going to talk about is PGP encryption on web. So you can actually use a web portal for sending out personal emails and corporate emails and encrypt it with PGP, with public-private key, with 1024-bit DSA, without any third-party add-on on any browser, whether you're using iPad or mobile or Windows application or Linux, anything, doesn't matter. Country-specific access control, which means like we recently deployed in Reserve Bank, where everybody's email account is protected, not to be accessible outside India by default. So it can't be accessed. So it is already hacker-free, no attacks, no problem, already done, taken care. Device restriction. So if you give an IMAP access to someone or a POP access to someone and your employees in a company, he can configure any device. Here, I can control only one device can be configured on IMAP, any device of the user's choice, but after that he can't. So I don't need IMI, I don't need any add-on, we don't need MDM, it still control everything. Tip pitting, tar pitting, where if the spammers are trying to send an email to our server, then it automatically slows them down and holds the attack so that they don't attack you more. Very intelligent way to do it. Steganography is built in, where you can communicate securely in a CBI kind of scenario, and in a Reserve Bank scenario where the rates are going to be decided, and a secret message has to be shared among 2 officers, you can use this technology. Entire data is stored in an encoded way, which means even the email administrator cannot have access to the data. If we try to recall in our mind, our administrators can see that, and we are not guaranteed that the data is not read by somebody else in our organization, or whether it is Gmail or a corporate environment. Rights management. I send an email to my colleague and I want that the mail should not be forwarded to anybody else. I can control that. I want him to retain it forever. I can say do not delete. So I have rights control over all the emails which I sent. Another unique capabilities are deduplication on attachments. Just recall in your email how many mails are being forwarded to you among the organization. So one attachment is being copied 10 times within the organization. So 10 copies of that attachment. In our solution, it stores only 1 copy. Broadcast. We are working out with Government of India to have an Indian email, replacement of Gmail for every citizen linked with UID. Let us say if Prime Minister wants to send a mail to 40-50 crore people, in general scenario, 50 crore email copies will be stored. In our solution, only 1 copy. Only 1 email for 50 crore people. So if you are running an organization of lakh employees, let us say Reliance with 100,000 people or 200,000 people, just 1 copy will be stored. You need not to store 200,000 copies. So all the benefits of not storing, not processing, not forwarding, all are need not to explain. Sharing and tagging. We all forward email. This is an idea which can change the life for everyone. You receive an email, you forward. No, don't do it. Don't create a copy in your send folder and another copy in the colleague's inbox. Just share it. Give an access. Exchange the notes. If you want to unshare it, get an unshare. Simple. Virtual storage. You want to send a 1 GB file to somebody? Idea is right now we have to depend on Dropbox, we have to depend on somebody else. No, it isn't built here. And two-step authentication. Time is short, so I'm running it fast. So these are the features which are same kind of thing, but there is an API which is I'm going to talk about, which can integrate with third-party applications. So if you have a CRM, if you have any ERP, you can integrate with email. Large mailing lists. So you have sales management, you have product management, you have insurance management, whatever the teams you have, you can create the separate mailing list, including the customer's mailing list, and you can send communication.
Time is up.
One more minute, last. So sharing of email, actually I just created the screenshots, I need not to. This delivery report tracking system is very good. So all the emails you send, they are tracked. So, and you need not to be an administrator for that. If you are sending 10 emails, all the 10 emails are tracked whether delivered, read, unread, bounced, replied, all that stuff. So like that, the report you can get. Access control, where I'm just going to show you the screen, where you can control which country you want to have access. You can set it yourself as a user. Virtual storage, encryption. Product roadmap is, we are going to have all India email, replacement of Gmail with government. UID integration, so every citizen gets an email. I did my doctorate in electronic data processing. I designed this with a team of 10 people. And these are some of the successful deployments we already have. And ready for the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajay, for sharing your innovative product. Time for some quick questions.
So I guess the features that you've outlined will work only within the context of your email system, right? So if I'm sending something outside, all of these features sort of disappear, right?
No, not true. You can use PGP encryption. PGP is open. You can use shared email outside. Almost all the features you can use outside. Yes?
Okay. Do you make any assumptions, trust assumptions, about the device or the system your email uses? Can I use my iPad? Do you make some trust assumption about the device? Because I cannot see this working without some trust assumptions you're actually making.
If we have time, I can explain you the logic.
But do you, okay, answer this one.
You can use it as a device. If you allow me 30 seconds, I will explain you the logic.
Great.
Okay. So, for example, when an administrator is going to allow you an IMAP access, right? So he's going to allow you, okay, enable IMAP access right now. Let us say 10 a.m. and say, okay, Mr. X, you are allowed to configure IMAP. One X device can configure at that time on IMAP. That's it. And you are done. After that, no other authentication will take place on IMAP.
Let me ask you a question. Maybe you can answer this.
Yes.
If I were to send an email to you,
yes,
which has an attachment,
yeah,
picture of my daughter,
yeah,
and I say, do not delete or do not send for, let's say do not forward it. It's
yeah,
a DRM application.
Yeah.
How do I enforce that on your machine without me making a trust assumption about your machine?
Are you my customer or you are a third party?
Look, okay, I'm not going to answer that question because your previous question was it works in all systems.
If you are using my system, whether it's a recipient or a sender, then only I can answer you this question, right? If you are not my customer, neither sender or receiver, how can I do that?
Thank you. That's the assumption I was looking for. Everybody's got to be your customer first. And they've got to use your system.
Either recipient or sender, right? Obviously, I can't guarantee for Gmail, right? Has to be one. Either recipient or a sender.
Yeah, quite an interesting product. Just wanted to know, when it talks a lot about email and probably it talks about novel, group-wise, some features of it, some features of Outlook, and a shade of Google also. How do you plan to take it forward? So email is one part probably. There are a lot of other things that could probably
Sir,
take
this
it
is already expanded as a unified communication where I'm not, actually we were supposed to talk about novelty and USP only and 5 minutes. So I have not talked about 3,000 features which are listed here, but it has all the features which you can imagine in Google, as you are saying, right, in Outlook. I am talking about beyond. What features I am talking about are beyond. So it has audio conferencing. For that example, I am not talking about here, and this is not available anywhere else also. So my conferencing, my email platform can dial out 30 numbers and all can talk automatically on a bridge. Need not to dial in. It has a capability here inbuilt in. So there is lot you can do around email, lot of features. I have 3-year round documented plan for that product, which is under development. So Reserve Bank is using it, Rajasthan Police 80,000 people are using it, BSNL 6 million email accounts are live in this right now. So this is a full-fledged running platform right now with around 10 million email accounts live.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajay.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next contestant. Our next product is S2Pay, developed by NetVigil Software. S2Pay is a technology enabling digital payment in offline world. I would like to invite Mr. Nirmal Juthani, Director, NetVigil Software Private Limited, to present the product.
While they are loading the presentation, I'm going to show you a short video, about 50 seconds, and then I'll explain that through the slides. So we just start with the video. My name is Nirmal Juthani, and I'm the founder of S2Pay. Stands for Safe to Pay. And works even without an internet connection or network signal. So is the presentation you like? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's just recap. With S2Pay, when you want to pay, all you have to do is just enter your amount and the PIN on your mobile phone, and a 24-digit TAN is generated instantaneously. The TAN is shown as a QR code on user's mobile phone, which the merchant scans, and a single server trip from the merchant device to the server verifies the payment. So in terms of security, this solution is compliant to RBI's two-factor authenticated payment, as both the user's device and the PIN is required for every transaction. The TAN generated is one-time use and valid only for 10 minutes. And there is no sensitive information stored on the mobile device. Let me give you in next 2 slides a simplified view of the technology behind this solution. As you can see, with S2Pay's innovative patent pending technology, a user's mobile device becomes a personalized, dynamic user keypad which is changing every time. When user enters the PIN on the device, a TAN is generated which captures the encrypted PIN positions and a dynamic user ID. On the server side, from that TAN, the user is identified and the user's PIN is verified. Let's consider the use case for this technology. As we know, the online digital wallets make it easy to do transactions online, but they are not so easy to use it in offline. When current solutions basically require users to either do multiple steps or require a hardware upgrade like NFC. And due to poor indoor network coverage inside stores and other stuff, they are either unreliable or slow. However, the offline payment opportunity is big. As for every dollar spent online, there are $17 which are spent offline. There are more than 150 million e-wallet users, and new users are going to be added by payment banks. Smartphone user base is increasing, and merchants are looking at ways to engage with digital customers. S2Pay is a technology which is offered as an SDK, which can be integrated into digital wallets, payment banks, and mobile banking apps to enable single-step offline payment without any hardware support. And it is easy to integrate with existing merchant POS infrastructure, as only a 24-digit TAN needs to be verified to confirm the payment. How are we different? S2Pay is basically, S2Pay's dynamic authorization is last mile agnostic. The 24-digit TAN can be passed through QR code, sound, NFC, or even a text message. S2Pay works even if the user doesn't have any network signal. And S2Pay is the only solution that works, that gives brute force protected offline payment capability without any hardware support. Further, S2Pay doesn't store any sensitive information, and the workflow is such that the merchant scans, which is a trained merchant or a scanner device, which reduces the checkout time. Let me give you some background about the people behind S2Pay. Our background is in the telecom and security domain. We worked with bank as Oracle Gold Partner for proactive fraud detection solutions. And while working with bank, we realized that most of the frauds are happening due to static authorizations, such as credit card numbers and passwords. So S2Pay was designed with solving that problem. And one of the few ways on which S2Pay was designed was the mobile. The mobile can be stolen, so don't store anything which could be hacked onto your mobile. And the solution has to be something which the user enters, like it should be two factors. So the PIN which is not stored on the mobile, but mobile is used as a way to verify the PIN on the server.
Time is up, Nirmal. Kindly wrap up the presentation.
Yeah, so this is just background of some of our projects, and these are our past customers. And thank you. So I'm ready for the questions.
So what is your go-to-market strategy? You would expect SDK to be deployed both on the bank side as well as on the merchant side.
Correct. So we are planning to basically integrate with the banks which has the customer base, and the merchant aggregators. We would give them that, like, okay, they can accept payments from multiple wallets, multiple banks with just one single scan, and there is no security requirement on the merchant side.
So what would the merchant require an app to be there?
Yeah, so there could be an app, or it could be an point of sale integration where the scanner just takes that code and connects to the server. So here one party is connected, the merchant is connected, user doesn't need
Sorry, quick question. You said in one of your slides that it takes into the notion of time. It's not valid after 10 minutes or so.
Correct.
How do you manage that, given that the time may not be synchronized between the client and the... There may be some, let's say, even a 2 seconds, 10 seconds difference between the two, where the verification is done and where it is generated. How do you do this?
Yeah, so if I'll just go back to the slide there. So if you see, this is based on the standard cryptographic algorithms and OAuth-based algorithm for OTP. So one part is the OTP, and the keyboard changes every time. So it is, and there is a user identification part where it is valid for 10 minutes. So if the time, we look at the current mobile time. If the time is wrong, then the time will not work, but when it is checked on the server side, it will fail. And on our device, basically it will, whenever it is connected, it will tell you if the time is wrong. So the application will not get installed if the server time and the client time doesn't match. So that is done one time. But after that, even if the user is not connected, the time has to be part of the system. If you change time, the transaction will not go through.
So I was wondering, can somebody change, because if it
Yeah.
allows the time synchronization, somebody will be able to cheat by not allowing a valid transaction to get through, or
valid transaction, but time synchronization on the client's phone. So even just the client's phone will get not valid. So if somebody is hacking the client phone, only that client will not be able to transact. And it will not allow invalid transaction to go through any time. Because the server will always verify the time with the current phone. Correct.
So always the S2P need to be preloaded on the mobile of the user.
Yeah, it would have to be, it is a solution which is using the mobile as a device. So your PIN only works on that device.
I'm asking say that the payment, it has to be preloaded on the mobile of the customer so that I can start paying it.
Correct, yeah. It is part of the either the payment app or any kind of an application system.
There are several solutions like this, the market, but I think many of them depend on the mobile gradability. So does your solution suffer from, supposing I have a cheap mobile Nokia, would it work?
Yeah, it works on even J2 Java enabled phones. So it works on any kind of phone. And I mean, see, some of the solutions which are look similar is like Chase Pay, currency, the Paydian. But the solution here is like all those Paydians and they have static code. So the code here it is changing and it is dependent on the PIN. It's not the same code. And there is no information on the phone which you can use to hack it. Even dynamic user ID. The user ID is only valid for 10 minutes. So it is changing. So if you hack the phone, you will be able to hack the user ID. I mean, you will be able to create the user ID, but the PIN, which is not stored, so even if you hack, but if I don't know the PIN, I will not be able to create a transaction. So through that dynamic user identification. So that is done so that like the merchant or somebody who is listening at the traffic cannot figure out all the transactions are from which users because the IDs keep changing and they are dynamic every time. So they are encrypted and they are random.
Thank you, Nirmal, for sharing
Thank
your
you very
product. Our sixth product for the evening is LAN Enforcer NG3110. NG3110 is a new range of appliances in the field of network security. These appliances provide a variety of security functions such as identity-based deep packet inspection firewalling, network access control, IPS with anomaly detection, etc. I would like to invite Mr. Amit Gupta, VP from BizDev, Nevis Network India, to present the product.
Good evening, and thank you DSCI for giving this opportunity. And before I get into what innovation we have done, there is need for certain background. I'd like to talk about the company. We are Pune-based. We are completely Indian from the point of view, headquartered in India. Our equity and our IP is resident in India. And our product range on the network security are basically network access control, also a full-blown IPS, which we are just about getting ready, and customized UTMs. The company has been in the market for last 10 years, and we have filed close to about double-digit patents. And in terms of our customers, we have typically about 3 out of 4 private banks in the country. We are very deep into the military applications with every say Sarvalines aircraft probably having a box of ours, or a naval vessel beyond a particular capacity has a box, and in certain army formations. We also have a customer, Raytheon Inc., which is a global 100, Fortune 100 customer. And we have OEM engagements as a supplier, with Tejas Networks, Bharat Electronics, and one of the Tata Group companies. And we also work with the channel partners. And quickly getting into the company, the company is run by Dr. Radha Chelat. She was the CTO of Symantec, and she worked for different leadership positions for multiple companies, holds multiple patents. She taught at IIT as well as IIM Ahmedabad. Similarly, Raghu Iyer is our CTO, and he also has a similar experience. And in terms of technology, For last couple of years, we had built the technology around our own ASIC, and this ASIC had a 24 core, and we had the endpoint agent, the OS for entire network security device which will sit into the traffic, and a management station. And this is what we do actually in terms of, there's a dashboard. It can find out how many people are on concurrently on the network, how many are quarantined, how many are blocked because being rogue devices. It also sees how devices are getting authenticated. It gives you a compliance view of the entire organization. In between, it tells you which are the top applications running on the network, who are the consumers. If there are applications like social media or P2P and IM, and who is using it, as well as it also tells you, looking at the traffic and the endpoints, if there is any intrusion attack going on, is a denial of service attack going on, is there intrusion or malware in the network. And essentially, what we do is at an enterprise scale. Some of our customers are beyond 100,000 users. So all the traffic reaching the data servers is what we attend. But of late, in last 2 years back, we started getting questions or, interest from cloud providers and the telecom vendors saying that we want to use your technology for cloud applications. Can we provide an enterprise compliance management? Can we provide compliance enterprise network access control, or can we provide endpoint monitoring? And similarly, some of our large banks and e-commerce companies came back and say, you do everything. You look at, you are inline and the entire traffic is going, the entire flow you are processing. Can you give us some intelligent analytics and take quick actions? For example, a e-commerce company came back and said, can you stop a competitor from scrubbing my site and trying to take the price information? Just limit him to minimal work. Similarly, we had customers from defense and BYD asking us to provide, in the whole structure, some part in the software, and that had a problem. Our ASIC, which we had built millions and millions of lines of code, wouldn't work. It won't go lower end, it won't go high end. So that was a strategic decision which we took to actually go and look at the multiple network processors for companies like Intel, Telera, and KVMs and other things, and started building the devices up. So this actually gave birth to NG3110 platform, which already has been in supply, by which we were able to move our throughputs from 10 gigs per device to 20 gigs, number of users from 8,000 to 16,000 per appliance, and we were also able to add some more features because we could now use some of the technologies that are available in the open space. So these are the various solutions which now with this, I would say, de-linked, decoupled architecture, we are able to take into the market. Various solutions as an integrated appliance or as well as as individual standalone solutions. So essentially from endpoint to network to the cloud, we are going to play a game, and and our roadmap is essentially to make it cloud and give the organizations, the telecom providers, a platform for cloud-based functioning, as well as since we are able to now move this software into say a lower VMs and use the cores to drive the performance, we will also be able to take to the SME market, which we were not able to take because our earlier costs were typically 8 lakh, 9 lakhs. Now we would probably be able to take the price points to 1 lakh. So NG3110 has been commercialized. We have already shipped in last 8 months to Axis Bank and IDFC Bank, and one of our large customer, we have done our placement from almost like 25 boxes which were consuming 200 watts each and 2U rack space to almost 8 or 9 boxes, at much lesser power utilization as well as very less rack space. And as far as company is concerned, we, as I have already shared, that we work as a technology supplier to many companies, but we also have gone and picked up technologies for multiple providers. For example, we're working with CDAC to take their application whitelisting technology. We're just about signing with them. We also work with the MDM companies, and there is another company which is into a compliance management area. And I would say the kind of work we do, we work at nanoseconds, or sorry, microseconds, not. So before a missile comes in, we'll have to be, our 6,500, 7,000 policies should have been done at the hardware layer and gone. I don't think too many companies in the entire Asian market would probably be playing this kind of game. So that's something that we are also an active participant. And the last slide for me is why Navis. Navis is headquartered in India. we comply to the Indian laws, you can sue us in case. You could do. Other thing is a very, very highly experienced team. Beside Radha and these two people, there are more than 10 people, almost 20% beyond 20 years of experience sitting in the company. We have a successful track record. We are active player in the security system, and we are very high scalable product company. In the sense, if we are now delinked with our processor, now I think we can move forward with taking the advantage of a lot of processors in the market.
Thank you, Amit. Time is
you.
up.
I think, and we are a net exporter earner in the whole marketplace. Sure, please.
You mentioned you have billion-dollar competitors. Who are you competing with?
Cisco, Junipers, Four Scouts are our actual competitors. And what we have seen is, if somebody tests our product, our chances are almost 50% then actually moving forward. Unless they refer to Gartner. We participated till about 2011 in Gartner Magic Quadrant. We saw we are not really going very, very much ahead. So we have just taken a strategy to probably convince a customer to test it. If he tests it, then we have a chance.
And when they test it, what convinces them that they should use you?
Well, what happens is that we up till now have been in enterprise space. So all these customers with whom we are dealing with have real problems to solve. And if those problems are solved, I think we are in.
You haven't answered my question. I know customers always have problems. There are a lot of customers here. What is the problem that you're solving that the Ciscos and the Junipers or the other guys are not solving?
Okay, so let's look at it in NAC. If Cisco NAC has to come in, it's essentially based on 802.1x, which is, there. Now what happens is that Cisco works beautifully well when the whole infrastructure is Cisco's. When it comes a heterogeneous, very large environment, especially country like India where legacy is just there, we know best of the organization, they are still running an unmanaged switch. They are still running XPs. So that's a place, we really don't have real challenges. We have a R&D, and we have a lot of companies who are partners to us. We can all put together, think about it. It does take time. I'm not saying that there is an answer immediately available, but we sit, we play, and we try and solve a problem.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Is this a product which is pitched largely for taking care of compliance at the server side or on the endpoint side?
Well, we actually tie the endpoint security to network enforcement. Our main goal is to find, don't allow any rogue device, don't allow any rogue application into the network. So it's essentially tying both together.
Yeah, so if the focus of compliance is really on the endpoint and enforcement is through the network, then does it really matter whether there is a heterogeneity of, Ciscos and Junipers on the other side? Ultimately, your enforcement is on the endpoint, right?
I completely agree. But what happens is that if you go and start doing enforcement at the endpoint, it becomes, you are with a lot of problems on hand. It's very easier to do enforcement at the network and get the compliance information from the endpoint.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you very
for
much.
sharing your thoughts. Moving on to the next contestant. Our next product is View Smart Maps, developed by ViewNet Systems. View Smart Maps uses a big data analytics engine to bring deep contextual awareness with unified visibility into your application, network, and security posture. I invite Mr. Bharat Joshi, co-founder of ViewNet Systems, to present the product.
Hello everybody, a very good evening. My name is Bharat. I am co-founder of ViewNet Systems. ViewNet Systems was founded by three of us who have worked together for more than 14 years in product R&D group of Infosys. ViewNet Systems was founded last year with a vision of creating products in networking and security domain. So we are currently seed funded. Our current team size is 10 and we have 2 advisors. So when we started, we basically started talking to a lot of folks, IT admins, CSOs, CIOs, and couple of things came out. One was that in last 20 years, whenever there has been a problem, a point tool was created. So because of that, what has happened in these enterprises, there are on an average 10 to 15 tools which are being used. And the problem is that these tools don't talk to each other. Because of that, it is very, very difficult to get the contextual and actionable information from these tools. Another striking thing which came out was that though security is a growing concern, but in most of these enterprises, the security is implemented as an afterthought in the IT infrastructure management. And a lot of mid-sized companies basically went ahead and said that security products are not only difficult to implement or complex to implement, and it is expensive also. So they basically shy away from basically implementing those security products in their companies. So, and another thing what happens actually with security products which are there, again that the contextual and actionable information is very difficult to come by because again they are siloed. So I'll give you an example. So if you have a vulnerability assessment tool, so what happens actually is that it gives you a list of vulnerabilities in the systems, but it does not tell you what type of system it is, what are users which basically accessing it, what kind of vulnerabilities in the system has been. Right? So in all, if I tell you that there are too many tools in the enterprises, and they collect the same data, but they don't share it among each other, and they are completely missing the context. So give you one more example on that. If you have an application performance monitoring solution, it will give you talk about only application performance. At that time, it will not give you information on what is happening in the network, what is happening with the user, what is the security part of it. It will give you only application performance part. So this basically becomes our twin objective, that we will try to solve the siloed information which exists today in enterprise and security baked into it, whatever product we come out. So that's how we basically, View Smart Web was born. So what View Smart Web does is basically, it brings in three key aspects. It collects data. It collects most comprehensive data in today's environment. It collects information like business context, it collects topology, what kind of topology enterprise has, it collects threat intelligence, it collects server and network health, it collects traffic logs, application flows. So basically, if you look at it, it collects the most comprehensive data in the network, and we basically currently support more than 120 data types. Second thing which basically it brings in is the View MVA, our basically multi-vector analytics engine. What that analytics engine does is three things. One is it basically normalize all this data across different sources and make it human readable from machine data. When I say human readable, what it does is it basically gives you the user name instead of IP address. It will give you a domain name instead of another server IP address, things like that. Second thing the View MVA does is it basically gets the context. It gets the context from the user, it gets the context from assets, it gets the context from vulnerabilities which may be there in the systems. And third thing it gives is the significant event of interest. I'll give you an example. What happens is whenever there is a problem, it might have happened at a specific time, like let's say tomorrow at yesterday at 2 o'clock it has happened. So when somebody is looking at that problem, trying to figure it out, he would want to know what all significant events has happened around that time. So what our View MVA engine does is basically when you are looking at the system, it also gives you that maybe you had basically at 1 o'clock you had changed the firewall configuration, or previous day you had actually added a new server. So those kind of significant event information is available right there. It basically gives you the whole context at one go. And View Smart Maps is available as a platform to make it future-proof. Okay. So if you look at how View Smart Maps basically break the silos, whatever is existing in today's environment. So View Smart Maps bring in that deep contextual awareness and the unified visibility in your infrastructure, and provides you continuous risk monitoring, and you can build custom tabs on top of it. So I'll just talk you about the product strategy. So we have three key differentiator, 3 C's. One is collect the most comprehensive data from the network. Second is correlate that data, and third is that to provide the context. So our view MVA engine provide that correlation and the context part. So if you look at, right, whatever I just talked about is that View Smart Maps collects the comprehensive data. So our natural progression towards is that we are going into anomaly detection and user behavior analytics. And we basically
time is up. Kindly wrap up.
Okay.
Soon.
So I'll just take you this last slide. So basically, we have been on trial since last month. We basically started trials for 2 customers whom we are in advanced talk of signing the commercials. There are 14 customers who are basically in the pipeline for beta trials, the likes of CTS, RIL, Wipro. And you can basically look at our demo on our website. And I'll be here around for the next 2 days, so maybe we can chat up on how View Smart Maps can help your enterprises. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
So this is an advanced NBAD plus some kind of dashboarding that is there to summarize it.
Yes. So basically, when I say contextual information, those contextual information is available in the form of dashboards. So what happens is, let's say, as I give an example of application monitoring. So apart from application monitoring, it gives you a dashboard on what are dependent application on that application, about the security of the application, and like the performance of the network also comes in picture. So all of those things are available in one
To
place.
make that intelligence available here, how do you gather that? You have agents which are required to be deployed through collectors and all?
Basically both push and pull mechanism. There are certain places where we basically pull the data. There are certain cases where the device or the system push the data to us.
And what is the threshold that you size the system for? How many events per second?
So basically, it's a very scalable system, and we basically go by the data which we basically get an index. So it is like can scale from 1 GB per day to 250 GB per day. So whatever trials we have done, they're basically it is around 10 GB per day.
Thank you, Bharat, for sharing your idea.
Quick question. Once you provide the information to the end user, is there a workbench that they get to work off of? Is there a workflow? Are you giving actions to be taken? Where do you end?
So that's basically will come in the future. I mean, right now we are not doing it. But what happens is right now we are giving a correlated contextual information on which he can take the action. But down the line, basically this can be attached to a workflow like a service now or something where you can actually raise a ticket or something that this needs to be looked at.
It's a great idea. Look at an Excel-funded company in this space. They just announced it, which is going one step further.
That's a great idea. Okay, thank you.
Our next product for the evening is HalDOS. HalDOS is a cloud-based integrated DDoS protection and load balancing solution. I would like to invite Mr. Anshul Saxena, CEO of HalDOS, to present the product.
Yeah. A very good evening to all, and thanks for having me on stage. HalDOS is your first line of defense against cyber attacks to ensure your website stays online all the time. DDoS attacks are rising rapidly, both in magnitude and frequency. Consecutively, over the past 3 years, we've seen an increase of over 200% year over year in the number of reported DDoS attacks. We've witnessed some very high-profile DDoS attacks, such as against Zoho Mail and Proton Mail, which happened last month. The most devastating aspect of a DDoS attack is the fact that it only costs $150 for an attacker to launch an attack and can cause a damage of up to $40,000 per hour to the targeted company. HalDOS is a patent-pending DDoS mitigation solution that can intelligently identify human traffic from attack traffic, and by limiting the attack traffic, we ensure that the website is always available to its legitimate customers. When we started building our solution, we realized that security is hard. It is hard for even the most proficient IT professional to understand and comprehend security. Furthermore, online businesses, especially startups, cannot invest into expensive security products and hire highly skilled security engineers to manage those solutions. That is why we came up with Holdos. It is an on-demand, affordable solution with $0.5 per hour pricing. It is now cheaper to defend against a DDoS attack than to launch one. Our solution continuously monitors the network traffic as well as the changes that happen on the website, so all in real time. This is what makes us provide a complete and comprehensive DDoS mitigation solution. With machine learning at its core, our solution is intelligent, always on, and self-learning. We have a no human intervention policy. That is, whenever you are attacked with a DDoS attack, our solution immediately detects that and self-adjusts and configures itself in such a way so as to provide the best course of mitigation without having any human intervention. So this helps us in reducing the mean time to resolve any kind of a DDoS event against your website. We are available on the cloud as well as on-premise, and you can monitor your website and see the changes that are happening and events through our web portal and also through our mobile app. Our leg up, we are the first Indian DDoS mitigation solution, and we provide it on the cloud as well as on hardware. We have 24/7 support, and we provide free updates for a lifetime. About the team, so we are a team of 6 engineers. We're a very young startup. I'm the head of the company, I'm the CEO, and I've done my master's in information security from Georgia Tech, and I was working for Amazon in defending DDoS attacks against AWS customers. So our progress so far, so we are about six months old. Over the past few months, we have launched our solution on AWS, and this month we are on course to launching our device as well as mobile phone app. Our plan for the future is to have a DDoS scrubbing center, basically a traffic scrubbing center, to handle large volumetric attacks. So our solution provides very standard mitigation as compared to other DDoS protection solutions like layer 3 protection, layer 4 protections, as well as layer 7 protection. But we stand apart because we also provide an anomaly-based solution that includes IP reputation-based solution, behavioral-based monitoring, as well as heuristic solution. This is what helps us provide a very complete and comprehensive DDoS mitigation and protection solution. Holdos, helping you stay online always. Thank you.
Thanks, very interesting product. I have a fundamental question.
Yes, sir.
You said this takes care of all layers, layer 3, layer 4, layer 7.
Right, sir.
So volumetric attacks, in order to scrub it,
yes, sir.
Ultimately it's a brute force of the capacity of the scrubbing appliance to be able to handle the load.
Right.
So in the absence of that, I saw your last slide which said you're still putting that in place. In the absence of that, how do you really take care of and mitigate a volumetric attack today?
So if you don't have the application layer, how do you defend against the volumetric attack?
If the attack is not an application layer attack,
okay,
but a typical volumetric network layer attack.
Sure, like a layer 4 attack.
Let's say an NTP.
Sure. So what? So let's take example. So we have a reverse proxy based solution. So basically, instead of so for example, consider TCP state exhaustion. So we do not let the end user establish a connection with the web server until he completes the complete handshake. So that is how we are able to determine whether the user is a legit user or not. And we also take this IP reputation and other thing into consideration to figure out whether the source is a good source or not.
No, we do not know if he's a good guy or a bad guy.
Right.
We are experiencing a flood of traffic coming in.
Sure.
But how does
the guy is already in? What do you do?
I'm sorry, sir?
Supposing the guy is already in.
The guy is already in. So basically, if it's a volumetric attack, at the end of the day, we are monitoring your server also and how much load your server can handle. If it can handle so much of load, we will prioritize the traffic And we will have the best traffic go through, and anything that is extra, we will drop the traffic at the source, at our end, before it hits your server, because ultimately your server will get overloaded even if I send it to you or not.
Like all the other solutions, right? You drop some traffic, you prioritize traffic. What is unique about your solution?
So the fact that we are monitoring so most of the DDoS solution only monitor the incoming traffic, or maybe the outgoing traffic. We monitor that as well as what is happening on your website. So if suppose you made a change to your website, so we identify that, and based on that we have a complete picture, and we also identify how much load your website can take, because we're probing your website frequently.
Sure. No,
So
that's also quite normally done.
Yes, sir.
It's also done. Yeah.
So we are taking all of that into consideration, and we have a machine learning model which is proving to be very effective in protecting against DDoS attacks. Furthermore, what we are doing is we are looking at the attack tools, and we are going through your source code and finding out what is the pattern of the attack that is generated, and using that also in our machine learning model to produce a solution which can effectively identify human traffic from the bot traffic.
Okay, one more thing. You say you use the reputation model to determine who is a good guy or a bad guy.
Yes, sir.
But a good guy and bad guys are dynamically, they keep changing.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
So we're taking a lot of sources from various online sources which are considered very safe. They are also changing their model, and we keep on updating, and we keep on pushing the update to our solution, which is then.
So these types of systems will have large amount of false positives and false negatives.
Yes,
right?
which is why we have a kind of a scoring model. So basically, we score every packet that is coming. So the idea is, if your server can handle a bit of attack traffic and it's on low load, we'll still send some of the attack traffic as long as it can handle it. Over and beyond that, if the attack is suddenly increased, we'll drop the worst packets and allow only the good ones to go through.
So what you just said is you'll still send some of the attack traffic in as long as you can handle it.
If it is suspicious, which is not entirely bad, like something landing in the gray area, we'll let it go. But if it is really bad, for example, it does not conform to RFC standards, obviously such packets need to be dropped.
Yeah, so you can have, I can have attack happening gradually at the background.
Right.
You will be letting it through completely, even though it's denying some part of my service, but it won't fall into your threshold.
So it will not deny any part of your service, because we are monitoring your web server. So if we are seeing that if this kind of an attack is resulting in a DDoS, we will stop it.
No, I understand exactly what you're doing. Okay.
Right. Any more questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anshul. Our next product for the evening is Heartbeat. I would like to invite Mr. Kuldeep Raina, Country Manager, India and SAARC Sales, to present the product.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen and gentle ladies. It's really an honor to be in front of the audience and talk about our innovation. I hope the screen is catching up. Thank you. So, predominantly what I'm going to talk about, we have a lot of patents globally. We have so much innovation that we have done. So today I'm going to talk about a specific innovation, which is called as the security heartbeat. So before I come to that innovation, let me just share some of the product idea and what kind of the problems that we are solving in the industry. And specifically, one of the things which I would like to mention before coming back onto my slides, that this innovation is not only for the large enterprises, but what we have focused is, we are focused of predominantly bringing our product to the mid-market and SMBs, so that the people, the enterprises which don't have and very good educate cyber security professionals, they should be able to manage. Our motto is security made simple, which means that in terms of the cyber attacks, which is a real form of an attack for SMBs and mid-market industries as well, it's going to form an educate product that they can use. Normally, if you see, what is the increase of the cyber attacks which has happened? So this is the latest KPMG report that I'm actually presenting. You know, in a year, 72% is the normal kind of the organizations, mid-market and SMBs are actually growing into the attacks. And specifically, these attacks which have been launched are being launched only from desktops and laptops. While as email and web predominantly also becomes the significant vectors because they're launching their attacks from email and web as well. So what's happening in the industry? All of guys are using multiple isolated products. You know, people are using firewalls, people are using antivirus engines, people are using maybe mobile device managements, people are using encryption. So all of this stuff is all into the isolation. So holistically, if you see, the biggest challenge from the industry's level is that we all having a 2D kind of a vision. So we don't have a holistic, a unified, a collaborative vision which can be analyzed from 3D perspective. Means how can we bring in the intelligence in collaborating multiple technologies together and to get a holistic view of the contextual intelligence and share them and see the eventuality of the attack and protect it. So here is what I'm going to introduce about the synchronized security. Synchronized security is, I'm talking about, you might have heard of the people or the vendors which talk about, hey look, this is an endpoint security, or the vendors which they go like, hey look, I'm on network security, hey look, I'm very good at mobile device management, I'm good in mobility. But what I'm going to talk about is, I look this picture in something like this. You have a guard which is outside the building, which is from the network security perspective. You have a guard which is inside of the building, which is from the endpoint perspective. So what are we trying to do is, we are trying to build these guards to communicate with each other. The innovation that we are trying to do is that we are giving them radios so that they can communicate. So this is the perfect synchronized security where we are integrating the network security to the endpoint security, and they are communicating with each other, they are collaborating with each other, they are sharing the threat intelligence with each other, so that they have more and more intelligence, more and more efficacy, more and more efficiently, and henceforth it becomes very productive and very proactive to block those kind of threats. So from a perspective of network security, when we are talking about botnet, we're talking about APT. So we are revolutionizing this concept by building APT in terms of the endpoints and doing the botnet detection, and not only detecting the botnets, but stopping and blocking the communication with the command and control centers as well. Roadmap, what are we going to look this as? From a perspective of a security heartbeat, we are looking at accelerated threat discovery. We are looking at endpoint and network protection combined to identify the unknown risks. And heartbeat realizes that on suspicious behaviors. The second point that we are going to provide is the active source identification. So we are trying to see the device identification, which may reduce time taken to manually identify the infected or the risk device. Automated incident response, where we are looking at compromise. So our vision is the security should be comprehensive, more effective as a system, and it can be made in simple. And all of us, if you look at that, our endpoints and our networks, both of them are in the Gartner's Leaders Quadrant, and those are the two technologies which are collaborated together to talk with each other. And moreover, if you see the blend of the contribution, so some of the companies or some of the vendors or the competition may be having a 90% focus on endpoint or 5-10% focus on network, but we are the only one which has a blended 50-50% focus and contribution in terms of innovation in endpoint and network. We have a strong channel reach. We are the overall winners for the CRN winners for network security appliances, network software, and endpoint as well. So a quick overlook at Sophos, who we are. So we have been founded in 1985, more than 450 million in revenues, 2,400 employees. In this country, we are almost around 700 plus people. We run a big engineering center out of Ahmedabad. We are OEM partners to Cisco, IBM, Juniper, Citrix, Lenovo, all those vendors. Thank you. Any questions?
Basically, the USP is communication between endpoint and to the
network.
front end.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What's the difference?
So the difference is like, normally when you are looking at the kind of the threat correlation, right? So normally at the endpoint, you have got the signatures or you have got the technology which only takes care of the endpoint, and they really don't know about the threat. So here the whole beauty is about the correlation. The whole beauty is about the coordinating and sharing the information between the endpoints and the network. Right, from a network perspective, if a threat is launched from the network perspective or from the endpoint perspective, we are double checking and reducing the rate of the false positives and bringing in more defense in order to collaborate.
But that's what most of the boxes do anyway, signature checking and
well, because this is only 5 minutes, but if you look at that from the endpoint, my purpose of showing you the both of the technologies in the Gartners is because we have a lot of patents.
I understand, as I'm looking for the USP.
Yeah, so we are looking at a lot of patents. We have our USPs are like genotype technology. Our USPs are nobody is innovating APT at the endpoints. We are innovating, we are bringing advanced persistent threats at endpoints as well as to the networks. So those are the innovation, best of the breeds, and combining together and collectively talking to each other. I have 21 seconds more.
Any more questions? Thank you, Kuldeep.
Thank you very much. So nice.
Our next product for the evening is the ATP sensor developed by Cyborg Cyber Forensics and Information Security Limited. CCFIS ATP sensor is an innovatively developed offensive deception device. I would like to invite Mr. Harpreet Singh, security researcher from CCFIS, to present the product.
Hello everyone, my name is Harpreet and today I'll be giving you a brief presentation on ATP sensors, that is advanced threat protection sensors. So what is the main problem nowadays? No matter how many firewalls, antiviruses or encryption policies you use, you can still get hacked. Right? It's just a matter of time before you are being compromised. And also security, there is nothing known as 100% security. Hardwares and firewalls, hardwares and softwares, everything has a flaw. And the hacker, what the hacker does, hacker only exploit this flaw just to get into your system, into your network. In this era, even if you have installed firewalls, it doesn't matter if your firewall has detected any attacks or not. Sometimes there are chances that your firewall didn't, the firewall didn't, detected any the attacks. So in that scenario, the thing is that it doesn't mean that you are not being attacked. It just means that maybe the attacks haven't been identified yet. So what can be the solutions? The first thing is that you should know about this enemy. Why? Because the enemy knows every single thing about you. Many things, especially in hacker world, they say doxing. The word is doxing. That information gathering of the top CIOs and everyone's, CEOs, CTOs, just to hack into their network. So what the hacker does, they gather this information. So that's why you should also know about your enemy, what type of attack, the attack method he'll perform, or what can he also do, the harm he can do to your network. So that's exactly what we are doing. We are with our ATP sensors. So what this ATP sensor is, ATP sensor, it's a desktop-based malware and attack capturing appliance. It captures all the IPs, IP addresses, the attack of method, the shell codes, the malwares, the viruses, every single thing, and forward it to the CTI. It's actually a trap for hackers. It deflects the targeted and zero-day attacks by replicating the client's network with random bogus information. It's a custom-made device just for this purpose, so that it can deflect all of these attacks again by replicating the client's network. It can even replicate ERP systems, SCADA systems, MIS, web applications, etc. So as you can see in the diagram, the ATP sensors, they are installed and deployed globally. And the data which is collected by these ATP sensors, these are sent back to the CTI collection center, that is Central Threat Intelligence Collection Center. And CTI collection center, they forward all of the data towards our GSOC lab, that's Global Security Operation Center, which process all this data and analyze any kind of malware, whatever the information is. And currently we are only generating the report, that is ATR, Advanced Threat Report, and providing it to our clients. But our next step, next phase is introducing TIA. What basically it will do, it will be installed on the client side also, so that the replication, all the information which has been gathered by our ATP sensors will be directly synchronized with these devices in the real time. So as I told you about these sensors captures the hackers' zero-day exploits, payloads, malwares, bots, and the botnets. So our marketing strategy, it's basically what we are doing is we are for ATP sensors, we are creating a map, interactive map in real time. All the ATP sensors which have been deployed globally, they'll actually show you the real-time attacks on how many information and malwares we have gathered. So everything will be done in the real time. And as the Lawrence Pingree from he's the research director from Gartner said, 2015 is the year of offensive deception. Our project has been awarded our project won many awards, and including the CIA awards. Our visionaries and also the founding fathers, these are the guys who backed us with every single thing, our research and every part, from the academic point of view to the real time. Our team is led by our executive director, who's also present here, Dr. J.S. Sodhi, and he has been a very good mentor for all of us. Our team consists of hackers, security researchers, malware analysts, exploit researchers, etc. We are backed by MIT University, the prestigious national and international recognition and accreditations. And there are some other research that we have been doing. As you can see, radio frequency hacking, burnout USB, personal firewalls, etc.
Thank you, Harpreet.
Yeah, that's all. So thank you, everyone. This is it for me. And for questions, I'll just redirect you to Mr. Kumar Shumu.
Yes. Okay. Where do your sensors?
Yes, sir.
I didn't get it. Where do they sit?
Sir, the sensor are installed in just a parallel to your network. So it's not an inline device. The sensor will be deployed inside your network, just parallel to your gateway. So whenever a hacker tries to perform any malicious attack or tries to send any automated malware or bot and exploit, so in 70% of these cases, so all these malware and backdoors, or I can say exploit or DOS attack, will be redirected to this ATP sensor, and all those attacks will be saved from that original network. So this is how this thing works.
Okay, can I just understand? I just want to understand a bit, because you're saying it will only detect. I can see if it were deployed in the network, parallel device, it will detect some network attacks. You mentioned malware, zero-day attacks.
Exactly.
There are some of these attacks will happen at the operating systems level, at the application level, at the middleware level.
Yeah.
Where does your sensor sit?
It actually, for example, if your concern is you want to secure your web application, so this sensor can be customized in order to replicate your web application. So in that case, it will safeguard your web application. And if your concern is your SCADA appliances, so in that case, will replicate SCADA.
So the sensor has to sit at the web application level.
Exactly.
If it is in the operating system, it has to sit at the operating system level.
It's an.
It can duplicate, but it has to sit at the operating system.
Yeah, of course.
So if I have a Unix operating, some sort of a Red Hat Linux operating system running, and there's a malware, a zero-day, so I need to have a sensor which duplicates that.
Yeah.
Okay, if I have a SAP ERP system running, I should have a sensor which duplicates that.
No. For example, if you have a very large network in which you have multiple server, multiple ERP, multiple operating system, and a few Android user and few AWS configured. So we can configure everything, and we can just replicate your entire network infra into one box. Thank you.
I have a question in terms of, is your detection method for identifying an ATP attack based on a signature base? Because that's what your slides seem to indicate. You get a threat intel and you feed that into your box, which matches the pattern. Is that the way it does it?
It's not signature based because the signature cannot be updated. So it's a kind of hacking methodology based. For example, if I'm a hacker and I want to hack into a network, so my first step will be to scan your entire network infra, and I will find the weakest point to enter your network. And this will be the weakest point, including all those usernames, password, all those users who are exchanging mail. So everything will be fake, but all this will be happening inside the sensor.
At which point is the check happening? Data flows into the network. There is, data flows into the network.
Yeah.
And you have to be in line somewhere to figure out if it's good, bad, and decide whether to allow and block, right?
No,
so where does your intervention come in, and how does the intervention operate?
Yeah, it's not an inline device. It's a parallel device. Yeah.
So it picks up data on tap as it flows into the network.
So
is that how it operates?
It basically acts like a magnet, which will be installed parallel to a network. So all those malicious traffic, all those exploit, backdoor malwares will be attracted toward this sensor, because when malwares are encoded, then they are designed to look for the weaker target, or to look for the operating system which are vulnerable to some certain exploit. So we configure this box to act like a magnet to attract all those attacks and malwares, everything.
Is it a botnet kind of a sensor that you have vulnerabilities deliberately planted there? And
it can safeguard a network from bot and botnet based attacks, but actually it's not botnet.
So basically you're filtering out the malicious traffic and routing it to a different channel.
No. We are not doing anything with the original traffic. So we are just, it's not an inline device, it's a parallel device. So it will act like a magnet.
Okay.
See, it's the humans' psychology or the malware psychology. Whenever we write a botnet, or whenever we write a malware, we simply include, okay, this is the operating system you need to target, and these are the list of exploits that you will use. So we simulate all those exploits. For example, if you hosted a web application, then we will simulate web application based exploit. So all the attacks will be deflected toward them. So it's a customized solution.
What about new attacks? Because malwares come every day, every second new malwares come. So
yeah.
How does that get attracted? Because you don't know about it.
No. So that's why Right now, we have already replicated almost 1,000 devices. That include from firewall, router, operating system, Android phone, WordPress, CMS, the banking application, and almost everything. So we are collecting all those malicious information from all sensors, and then they're rebuilding and and then pushing it as an update to all the appliances. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, team from Cyborg.
Thank you.
Our next product for the evening is AKS Forensics Workstation, which is a state-of-the-art computer forensics workstation developed by AKS Information Technology. I now invite Mr. Rohit Srivastav, Senior InfoSec Consultant from AKS, to present the product.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Rohit Srivastav. I am working with AKS IT Services as a senior InfoSec consultant. So the product we are going to present here is named as AKS Forensics Workstation. Coming to the product idea. So we have indigenously developed a state-of-art forensic workstation named as AKS Forensic Workstation. This is completely a lab in a box which facilitates a forensic examiner to crack, recover and analyze the digital evidences during the forensic cases. This workstation is as good as any workstation available in the global market. So we have researched a lot over many workstations available in the global market, and we have designed this workstation. So what is the outcome of this development is no need of procuring cyber forensic workstation from abroad. So this results into the saving of free foreign exchange, local support available in case any of unserviceability. So the thing is that for the imported items, it's a very tricky thing to send back to the abroad for repair. So it's a fast process. Our team is available locally. Can be customized to the user requirements. So basically this has been designed to fulfill the requirement of law enforcement agencies, defense forces, central and state forensics science laboratories. So because it's meeting all the ongoing requirements of the cyber forensic needs. So coming to the USP, so it's completely designed by our research and development team under the Make in India campaign initiated by our Prime Minister. So coming to the second part, the hot swappable base. It's a very important for any workstation for the base. Base are used for inserting the hard disk that is used during the cases. So we have total 13 bays, out of which 2 are hot swappable, that is supports you to quick and easy removal of hard disk without shutting down the system. So that is an important factor. You don't need to shut down the system. Other one is the integrated write blocker. So for any forensic examination, it's a requirement that the evidences that you have seen should not be tampered. Because if something is tampered, it should not be acceptable to the court of law. So this integrated write blocker preserves the integrity of media while conducting the analysis. Local support and maintenance is available. Reduction is cost. So by this development, we have almost cut down the cost to 50% as compared to the imported machine with the same tax or the better tax specification. So innovative product design. So coming to this part, so we have different brands available. So after integration, we have developed this workstation. So we have used for the processing capability and a high GPU processing, we have used the Intel technology. NVIDIA graphics card that support the GPU acceleration, write blockers from Tableau, that is a known brand, Cooler Master awarded cabinet for the base to facilitate the examiner. Also, recently we have been awarded with the Express IT Innovation Award of the Year for this product. So, also the product has been developed under the guidance and support of our Managing Director, Veteran Wing Commander Ashish Kumar Saxena. He has an outstanding experience, 38 years of professional experience, over 15 years of experience in the field of cybersecurity, 9 years experience as an entrepreneur, involved in creating of the certain. Coming to the company, we well-established firm based on Noida in 2006, provide security auditing, consulting, compliance, cyber forensics and training services. We are 9001 and ISO 27001 certified. We are the existing member of Data Security Council of India and NASSCOM. We are impaneled with CERT India, Controller of Certifying Authority, APTS, LCOT, DIT Maharashtra. We are selected as a 20 promising network security companies in 2014 by CIO Review magazine. Achievements. So we have successfully supplied this 4 quantity of AKS forensic workstation to CBCID cybercrime cell in Chennai this year. We have also involved in setup of state-of-art forensic labs for Directorate of Enforcement at New Delhi and Indian Air Force in 2008. We have provided mobile solutions and training to CID Bangalore, CID Rajasthan Police, Indian Air Force, Institute of Forensic Science Aurangabad, Karnataka Police, and also we have conducted many workshops in jointly with the CERTIN. We are also developing customized software development for law enforcement and intelligence agencies. We have developed other 2 softwares as satellite intelligence and advanced encryption messaging systems. So this is all about our product. So if you have any questions, please.
What's the innovation? How does your product stand out when you compare with other products?
Okay, so our idea is innovative because there is no product exists in India that is designed here and that is used for the forensically sound, because there are lots of high-end machines are available, but they are not capable of doing this forensic analysis because they don't have the other capabilities as compared to our product. So they can only, we can say there is a high-end workstations, but not forensic workstations.
When you talk about integrity right blocker,
yeah.
So what exactly happens?
Sir, this is basically it's a hardware that we integrate in one of the bay that is situated in the front bay. So it uses basically, I'll just tell you the background. Whenever we seize any device or hard disk for the forensic analysis, we always required that integrity should be maintained. So that not. So write blockers, what it does, whenever you want to examine any hard disk or analyze, you connect through this write blocker. It will only, it will not allow any write. It will not allow anything to be write in the evidence. So your evidence should keep completely read-only mode only.
It's an hardware-based.
Yeah, it's a hardware-based, but it also comes with complete solution. So I mentioned already, it's a lab in a box. So you can integrate any number of softwares that are also compatible with these machines.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Sir.
Yes, there's one question. When it comes to forensics,
yeah.
Normally there are requirements from legal aspect.
Yes, sir.
And abroad, if you are competing with those products, they would normally say that we are complying with such and such standard or such and such requirements set by maybe some NSIT or some federal government, something of that kind. How your product takes care of such aspects?
You're talking about the standards, like federal standards. So our product is designed for facilitating the data analysis. Like you have any case, so whenever you are being a forensic examiner, you required high-end workstations or high-end machines to analyze those data with a speedy and in a more reliable way. So as far as the standards are concerned, so our product is...
Okay, let me put it this way, if you are just talking about analysis. Now, in terms of analysis only, there is I don't know how far it compares with, but there is one known company, Guidance, with its products and case. And it states that it complies with certain specified standards so far as legal requirements of, evidence analysis is concerned. How does it, where it stands?
So that is something that is based on that you are talking about the software. Because there are also softwares available, those are used for the examinations, that is compliant with, see, you are talking about the acceptable thing. So our machine only required for the analysis in support of that software. So that software needs to be
two components, hardware and software, there are two components, I understand that.
Yeah.
But either of these, they have to comply
component.
with certain requirements, whether it is software or whether it is hardware, when it comes to analysis.
Yeah, you can connect mobile evidences by copying through any hard disk or media. So it supports the mobile. See, extractions require other hardware. This is for analysis. See, extraction part you can only perform through the mobile extraction hardware or software. But this after extraction, if you have to analyze the data, this workstation facilitates you to analyze of this.
Thank you, Rohit.
That is a different. Sir, I think.
So we'd have to proceed. There's not enough time. Thank you. Our next product for the evening is Secure My Pass. Secure My Pass enables secure banking for million Indians while making the current authentication for internet, ATM and mobile redundant. I would like to invite Mr. Mitesh Thakur, founder and CEO of Adoroy Tech Ventures, to present the product.
Hi folks, this is Mitesh here from Adoroy. Introducing here this time is actually double key cross-platform authentication for web, ATM and mobile apps. Particularly for a use case of a financial inclusion is being modeled right now. The challenge that we have seen actually that internet was never invented for transactions. We are trying to do e-banking, e-governance and e-commerce, everything on that. And the security at access and identity is the most breached. Where there have been cases where billions of passwords have been hacked and they are already available at hacker.com and websites like that. And there are only few banks who actually can actually put it on, they get courageous, they put it on Twitter that we are under a compromised state. There are only few things like RSA dongles, digital certificates and one-time passwords and various innovations that have been portrayed here to actually solve this issue at access and identity. But what we need is actually strong enough while easy on customer experience and something that can be used for billion Indians. Now, the product need comes from my work along with the financial inclusion department at IDRBT, that is RBI's funded research organization, where the thing was that they told us the challenges were there's no bijli, no pani, no internet, and our PM wants to be doing Bharat banking, where the entire India can bank where there is no internet. Bijli bhi nahi hai, right? So Digital India and JAM,
are at roadblock. Jam, when I say, it's actually Jandan, Aadhaar, and mobile. Right? Making every Indian access banking requires huge investment in digital infra to make Jam. Now, actually, only 15% of India is connected digital. And huge, the tele-density of voice is about 75% of India. Now, if banking needs to actually reach those, they have to think about some other digital medium than internet, which is voice. Micro ATM are not functioning due to internet, and basic power penetration itself is not there. Indians are not used to do banking themselves. Now, that is the biggest thing, challenge actually, that I give my wife the ATM card and she will withdraw money on my behalf. Now, how does this happen? Actually, a farmer telling his son, go and paisa nikal ke aao yaar. मैं खेत में जोत जला रहा हूँ यार. So मैं कैसे करूँ? And when he has to bring now his finger. Worse actually, the Aadhaar requires his finger to be brought to the BC. My God, he cannot cut his finger and tell his son, "Ke main leke jao." Now, how do we do that? That's the problem that we are addressing. For masses, for web, ATM, and mobile app. Last year, we actually were finalists at a DSCI Excellence Award for the web. This year, we invented for the mobile app and the ATM, where our product has been peer-reviewed by likes of DSCI, NASSCOM, RBI, IDRBT, and cybersecurity experts that it eliminates phishing and skimming. What I would like to, my honorable judges and the team here, to actually see that and actually ask me questions related how it's been done. After I show a robust solution which is simple and lower in cost than whatever it's in OTP. The demo link. Now there's a mobile app solution where it can be done on 6 different languages. Now this is a BC, where a business correspondent of a bank actually has a mobile app on his, instead of a traditional ADC type of an ATM machine that he carries, there's a simple mobile app that on this Android device, which can work on mobile data as well as no mobile data. Now, person swipes an ATM card. Now, using this kind of a chipsets, we have integrated our mobile app with something that can read the cards, the card readers. And then he's been asked to call bank's authentication number and speak his voice password. Now, unlike fingerprint and iris, which cannot come out of the body, the digital, the biometric, the only biometric available is actually his voice, which can be actually done encrypted and decrypted and encoded and decoded at the server level. So where what happens is he calls his number. As soon as he calls this number, authentication in progress, please wait. And then he can see a very reliable, very similar to use case of a mobile ATM, of an ATM on his mobile app. Now this is a picture of a farmer, where this was earlier, a Prakash Shah was a BC. So on Prakash Shah's mobile phone, this farmer, after giving a call, when he is in front of him, the farmer has to give a call. That is the first use case of where there's a data connection available. Now, the most interesting use case is where there's no mobile data. Now, when there's no mobile data, again, he swipes the card, and then he first do the transaction. He will select what he wants to do, withdraw money or deposit. So I will just go in case of withdrawal. He chooses to withdraw rupees 700 and clicks and complete the transaction. As soon as he says submit, so what happens is, now just imagine a farmer's son has come to a BC to withdraw money. And as soon as he does that, actually farmer gets a call on his phone and he says, "Tame 500 rupiya kadwa mate request kari chhe." Is it true? Agar correct chhe, to speak your voice password. Tamari awaj, tamari orkhan chhe. Now, that fellow gets the answer, gets to know that my son is trying to withdraw rupees 500 when I've instructed him only rupees 50. So I should really, do whatever I can do after he comes back.
Mitesh, time is up.
So
Kindly
authentication in progress. As soon as he authenticates remotely while he's on a field, the transaction actually happens. Transaction authenticated, and hello account, collect your rupees 700 from BC Prakash Shah.
Mitesh, time is up.
Yeah. So before I can actually end, can I play a request that actually we have a customer from Solapur Janata Cooperative Bank who has been using this in his testimonial. Is it fine? Yeah. Thank you.
Mobile
इसका इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, इसलिए हमारे बैंक ने एप्लीकेशन लिया है। वैसे सभी बैंकों ने लेने के लिए मैं उसको रिकमेंड करता हूँ।
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience and jury?
Mitesh,
Yeah.
where is the voice sample being collected and who's storing it?
So, see, what happens is actually the voice sample is collected at a server level. For the
How? Because see, you said the Aadhaar and other things are connected to some source. If they need to do for so many people, where would they do the samples?
So,
and
see, when
going
Aadhaar-
back, does the banks have the kind of capability to store them and keep it active and play?
Yeah, see, Aadhaar has the biometric, they've only collected is the fingerprints and iris. Now, voice to collect actually the account manager or a BC. Suppose I am the BC and you are the farmer, you're coming to actually first do the banking, enable the banking. So how do I generate your voice password? What I do is I have to enroll you. So from your phone, I ask you to give a call on an enrollment number. So what I do while I'm doing a KYC, I check your credentials and tell you to give a call on a particular number. So when you are giving call from your number, your mobile ID registered to that KYC form is linked. And then I take the phone from you, and then I authenticate myself by entering my employee code, registrant code, and I speak Khulja Sim Sim in my own voice, and then I give the phone to you and tell you Khulja Sim Sim 3 baar boliye. Now what happens is you speak Khulja Sim Sim 3 times, you have enrolled in front of me. You don't need to go to Aadhaar center or anywhere. It can be done under a tree.
The voice biometric is supposed to be, the error rate is very high as compared to the other biometric authentications.
No, actually we are using Nuance voice biometric solution, which actually has been used by 40 banks worldwide. Even banks in India, namely ICICI Bank, has adopted recently. The voice biometric, I can actually show you a use case where actually it is fairly accurate than almost all other kind of biometric authentications.
Very quick question. One thing I didn't understand. You do this voice verification for somebody else who is somewhere else, right? Say the farmer gives it to his son. So the voice authentication is done with the farmer, but then you give the transaction, the amount to the son. How do you connect these two? Because where does the son collect the money? Where does he collect the money?
Yeah.
And how is this connection done?
Yeah. Say, I am the BC, the business correspondent, the bank correspondent, and the son of farmer has come to me.
Always come to you, not to the bank.
Yeah. And then when he presses that, the phone actually goes to the farmer sitting about 5 kilometers away.
Thank you, Mitesh, for sharing your innovative concept.
Thank you so much. And this all is done on so it's done on an encrypted voice layer. So what happens, the data packets actually travel over a facsimile signal. You know, we used to have facsimile transmit data. That kind of things actually go to the server and then actually convert into a web API kind of thing and interact with the CBS system under the firewall of the bank. Thank you so much, sir.
We are now approaching the very end of our event. Our last product for the evening is Safe Banking, developed by Quick Heal Technology. Safe Banking is a one-stop solution for all payment transactions that we do day to day. I would now like to invite Mr. Abhishek Singh, CEO, CISO of Quick Heal Technology, to present the product.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Abhishek Singh, and I'm going to discuss about the safe banking product that Quick Heal has already launched in the market around 1.5 years back. So, before discussing anything, the first thing that comes to mind is why exactly safe banking and what exactly does it mean? So, when we say safe banking, it is not only related to the banking. It's related to all the payment transactions that we do in a day-to-day life, whether we do it through net banking, whether we go online doing shopping on Flipkart, Amazon, on any other sites, and then we are routed to the payment gateways where we actually do the transactions and all. So we have thought over it that whenever anybody is doing those transactions and whenever anybody is doing any shopping or doing any net banking and all, how exactly we can go ahead and secure that particular transaction, that particular session. So we have developed this particular product, which is called as Safe Banking, which in itself acts in a very different way, that when you purchase this particular product, or when you exactly starts this particular product, when it is installed on your machine, you click on it, it creates a totally virtualized environment or a totally different desktop session. So once there is a different desktop session, you are there in it and you start doing any transactions, it is very much secure. How exactly? There are multiple reasons to it. For example, it prevents you from the SSL attacks. So whatever URL you are going to type, first of all it checks whether it's a genuine one or not, so that whether it is being poisoned by the DNS or not, DNS and all. So in case there is a cache poisoning or DNS poisoning, so that you are routed to some wrong server and all. So that is something that is not going to happen, because it validates itself from a centralized server like google.com and all. So that in case there is a host file that is sitting on your machine and that is going to route you to some other server, it is not going to happen in this particular session. So it will prevent you from SSL attacks and DNS-based attacks, and it can also help you prevent from the keylogger attacks also, because there is a mechanism called as a sandbox feature. So in this particular browser, when you launch this particular safe banking feature, the browser, the sandbox browser feature, what exactly it does is it prevents it actually hooks all the APIs, so that in case there are any mechanism through which the malware want to infect any file and then dominate that particular feature or session of yours, then it is going to prevent that particular session. Organizations, especially banking and payment industries, are getting aligned to best security practices. So when we say the best security practices like PCI DSS or ISO 27001, so keeping in line with all those things, we came out with this particular feature of safe banking, where, as I have already mentioned, that it is a totally virtualized environment, so that whatever you start doing with it, and once you close the session, you are done with it, so that in case you download also any file or anything like that, it is not going to be there on your different session, which is your actual session on which you are actually working. So how exactly it works? We have patented this particular technology, the safe banking technology, and this feature is being supported currently by Internet Explorer, Chrome and Firefox browser on Windows operating systems across multiple devices. And we have planned roadmap for doing it for Linux and then Macintosh and Safari browsers as well. And our patented technology, Browser Sandbox, as I mentioned, is used to protect user online banking session from different vectors of malware, threats and all. And these are the key security layers which helps us, and which exactly are the features which this safe banking throws out. That real-time protection from new viruses and malware that is still password or credit card numbers, because the sandbox feature in itself sits in the middle and defers any APIs which wants to dominate that particular session. SSL layer security check, because once you type any website's address, if it is not valid, first of all, the safe banking session will not take it. And then once you type that particular session, it will validate whether that SSL is valid or not. It will validate the CA authority, the start and end date of that certificate authority, and then only that session is established. Then the phishing protection against the same case, that in case you get an email attachment, you click on that and you are routed to a particular website. So in that circumstance, it is going to validate that particular IP, whether it is the correct IP or not. So DNS poisoning or DNS cache poisoning, that particular circumstance is not going to happen in this case. Then the keylogger detection. So as I mentioned, that it will hook the APIs and all, so whatever you are typing and all, in case you are typing, it is not going to be taken over by any APIs or any program that will steal that information, and that can be used later on for malicious intents and all. So we have already launched this particular product in the market 1.5 years back, and currently we have the latest version 16, that we are going to launch in January. And this will cover some add-ons, like initially it was only supported for the devices which were having keyboards and all. So now we have made some new changes and enhancement, that it is going to be installed and going to work on devices which touchpads and all. So you can use it on tabs as well.
Abhishek, time is up. Kindly wrap up.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I'm done. This is the profile of the company. Mr. Katkar, who is the CEO and CTO, both the brothers who is owning this company, they are actually leveraging this particular product and coming out with new innovations day in and day out. So thank you very much. Any questions and answers?
Yeah, Abhishek, you identified all this. Abhishek.
Yeah.
You identified all the layers, but what is the differentiation and what solution actually brought in?
So sorry.
You identified. Go back in the slide. Most of the time there is a new tab get launched and then these products come from there itself anyway, right? Like when I'm trying to do a transaction, it particularly opens up into a different tab and does my transaction there and then closes it there. So I'm looking for the difference, basically. I think as I'll ask it. We're just looking for the differentiation in the product versus the regularly things available in the market.
You have to do your transactions in those browsers.
Sometimes you go ahead and skip that and go through the keypads. So it's like when you are in this particular session, it's not.
Otherwise, this will not work because the virtual machine you create can be completely fraud, can be completely, it's got lots of problems. Unless I make an assumption, the operating system which is shooting out this virtual machine out is in fact doing it in a secure way, or the hypervisor underneath is doing it in a secure way.
So ultimate container that you need to create is through hypervisor. So this is our first step, which is a software level redirection is done, and container might.
The hypervisor is also software.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also.
VMware hypervisor or Microsoft, all these have hypervisors. They're also software.
Right.
So.
But they can, somehow leverage the processor functionalities as well, like VTX and VTD.
Yeah. So that is different. Yeah. VTX, TPM, those, SGX, that's the next stage of securing the hypervisor. Right. But first of all, we can make certain level of, a security hypervisor without relying on the trusted hardware underneath, right? But for me to assume that I can have the phishing and the keylogger and all these things on the virtual session that I create, I need to make certain assumptions about the hypervisor being secure. So unless I have that, this will not be, I can't do this in any machine. I got to have some assumptions about either a secure Linux, which I got to say, or a secure hypervisor running in my machine. Otherwise, this won't work.
Thank you, team from Quick Heal. With this, we come towards the end of our presentation. A big round of applause for all the participants and the audience.